put in a cloud that's not gonna turn into ones and zeros. So now, as I'm thinking, all right, I got music influence, I got fans, I got people that listen, we doing pretty well on the road. Where should we mobilize the transaction to? Should we sell t-shirts? Should we copy Jigga and Puffy and sell alcohol? What should we do? And I start thinking about where's our value? What categories do we have value in? Outside of alcohol, outside of what else hip-hop and soul? Streetwear, headphones. Okay, that was an innovation. That was the first time we saw hip-hop leverage its value to a hardware product. But if you ask me, you looking like, no disrespect to nobody, Kylie and Kendall just put their face over Tupac and Biggie. Those is pop icons that are reaching for hip-hop authenticity. It's a slew of that all through the world. So to me, that means hip-hop is the most influential culture in the world. If you look at streaming, the #1 genre in streaming, see, streaming is a representation of who's listening. Sales and all that can be manipulated. You can't really manipulate who's listening, who's tuning in. So when you look at that chart, hip-hop at the top of that streaming chart by far. Hip-hop over-indexing on every streaming platform. What that say? I mean, hip-hop is the most influential culture on earth. That means, why would we leverage our influence for alcohol companies we don't own? When the alcohol company need hip-hop to sell their alcohol. Why would we leverage our influence to clothing lines that we don't own? When the clothing line need hip-hop to sell the clothes. What's the difference? We can't build companies. We can't build infrastructure. We tap dance and got talent. I don't believe that. So thinking about that, we building, we strategizing. All right, so talk about something. All right, there's a thing called Moore's Law. Anybody know what Moore's Law is? You don't know what Moore's Law is?
No.
You was on point. I thought you would know that. Nah, it's some tech shit. So basically, Moore's Law is the reason it's a new iPhone every year.
So basically, Moore's Law is something happening better every year. I thought this follower they more than
Bingo. It's two parts of it. It's the actual real estate that it take. It's like the size of the chip gonna shrink every 18 months. It's gonna cut in half. So if you had a 7-inch chip that could process that a gigabyte a second, next year it's gonna be a 3.5-inch chip that processes at 2 gigabytes a second. And the year after that it's gonna be a double whatever that shit is, and double, you know what I'm saying? But that's called Moore's Law. So basically, because of that, things get cheaper and cheaper and more powerful every year. That has an impact on business, that has an impact on everything. So I brought that up for a reason. We're gonna touch on that in a second, but we talk about all these things going on and how that impacts me as a hip hop artist, how that impacts Idris as a software and hardware designer. It's basically a question of what's the business model, because people still love music, people still consume music, but the whole model of how to sell it has changed, as well as a ton of other products and services. So, you know, when we looking at Spotify, we looking at Tidal, we looking at Pandora, we looking at Apple Music. You must work for Apple. Nah, but you looking at everybody different opinion on what the new model is gonna be. And it's all different. Pandora got a different model than Spotify. They all got different models. But then again, like if you look at Yeezy and a couple of, even like Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine, even Jay-Z, what they have done, what they influence as music and content creators. They switched what they sell. So to bring it back to myself, all right, recently on June 17th in LA, I opened up the world's first smart store. Anybody heard about that? Right, yeah, it's called a Marathon Store. And basically, I was on schedule to open up this store as a store that was like a flagship for our brand, which was basically we was betting on what I just described to y'all about what we should do, where we should put our cash registers, what's going on with this digital revolution, should we sell music? The store was our bet. It was what I thought was the right thing to do after I collected all this information. I thought that, okay, I'm gonna use a model like Starbucks. I'm gonna offer an experience and I'm gonna surround you with products. Starbucks give you free Wi-Fi, You sit down, you start doing your homework, you start, going through emails